Hello, I'm Harmony with Wheeler Rentals. I'm going to show you all the features on the inside of this travel trailer. Okay, the first thing you see when you come inside of the travel trailer is your sensor panel. Don't trust your sensors. The dirtier your tank is, the more dishonest it is. The cleaner your tank is, the more honest it is. So your black tank, the best way to know if you're actually filling up or cleaning out your black tank is to look straight down the toilet. Your fresh tank, on the other hand, is going to be fairly honest. You can tell that by just pressing the button here underneath above fresh. And right now it says we're at 1/3. Your battery is also going to be fairly honest, and it says that we're at full. The other things that you have on your sensor panel here is your water pump. You do need to have that water pump on in order to create any kind of water pressure coming out of your freshwater tank. If you're plugged into the city water connection and you have the faucet on, that has already created water pressure. You only need to worry about this one when you're pulling water out of your freshwater tank. When you first get to your campsite and you're all set up, you're probably going to come in, turn on that freshwater tank. And the other thing you're going to turn on is your hot water heater. You've got two choices. You've got electrical or LP gas or propane, same thing there. If you're plugged into electricity, you'll turn on the electricity. If you're not plugged into electricity, you'll turn on the LP gas. You'll hear it click, 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 and then and fire up. And what you'll do is just leave those two on, and that'll automatically light every time that it needs to reheat your water. For the purpose of the walkthrough, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to leave on the water pump because I'm still going to show this stuff in the bathroom. Right here are your light switches. This switch goes to your porch light. This switch goes to your inside lights. Now, this switch has to be on in order for your light switches to work. It's called a two-way switch. So this switch has to be on in order for your other switches to turn on and off. Then last we've got here is your awning. We already talked a little bit about that on the outside. It's very simple. We've got out and in. The other thing you have is your keys, your black keys. Your black key goes to your door. Your silver key goes to all your outside compartments. I believe this oval black key goes to the pop-outs. All right, next we've got the stove. The stove is pretty simple. Turn it to light. Sometimes the spark works, sometimes it doesn't, so we also have lighters here. There we go. The other thing that you might need the lighter for is the oven. The oven has a little push and hold pilot light there. Come on down here. The pilot is center back. What you'll do is hold that dial down and then take the match, light the pilot light. Once that's lit, hold it for a few seconds, turn it to the temperature you want, and you'll see that heating element heat up. One thing I do generally leave off, especially while traveling, is I do leave off the oven so that that pilot light isn't running. All right, let's head on down here. The stove is the sink is pretty self-explanatory, but we also have a radio equipped with the DVD. There's the power, and you'll kind of figure out most of that. This above it is the charge controller. This goes to your solar panel. It makes sure that the solar panel doesn't overcharge your battery. This is also the best way to tell how your battery is doing. It's going to be fairly accurate. It cycles through, just came with 13.8. You are equipped with a 12-volt battery. 13.5 volts is full. 11 volts is about halfway, and 9 volts is dead. So this is probably the best way to know how your battery is doing. All right, this is your couch, which also changes into a bed. To change it into a bed, you just lift up and let it lay down. To change it back into a couch, you lift up, put a little bit of pressure on the bottom, pull with the top, and it rolls in similar to a futon. This is also equipped with extra storage space. In order to access that storage space, you do have to lift up on this a little bit, and then you can lift up this. And then there's quite a bit of storage right underneath there. And there's also access to your outside storage from there as well. Next, we've got your front pop-out. Your front pop-out is going to work the exact same way as your back pop-out is. We'll go ahead and take off these straps. I'm going to lay this down. Usually hidden somewhere in here is your gooseneck bar. There's going to be one for each pop out. On this gooseneck bar is a little C-clip And there's your gooseneck. Now, one thing you do have to remember, most everything about this trailer is ultra simple except for this part. There are 2 buttons. We're going to go ahead and stick the top button into a hole in the ceiling. Make sure that you always have access to this bottom button so you can press on the button to pull it back out. Now, there is a U-shaped bar that is connected to the inside of this pop-out. It's kind of hard to see because it gets covered up by the canvas. So you just kind of move the canvas out of the way, put that C-clip on that U-shaped bar, stand up all that canvas all the way to the back. There's a hole in the ceiling. Remember, 1 button in. So you go ahead and press on this bottom button, put that into the top, make sure you have access to the bottom button. Once you're done with that, go ahead and open that up and slide that pad right out there. And then get out your bedding. Then that's all set up. To bring it down, it's going to come down in about the same way. What you want to do is to pull this bedding out of the way. Usually fold this up or else the canvas is going to fall on top of it there. Push that bottom button in, pull out this gooseneck bar, let that fall down. Bar back in between, prevents stuff from getting scratched. You can go ahead and put this up now, or you might want to wait until you've closed that pop out to really push this in here, because it'll make closing that pop out easier if this isn't attached yet. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and just get it up out of our way. All right, this dinette also lays down to a bed if you need to use it. Basically, you'll just lift up the table, take off the legs, lay the table down on little shelves on the benches, squish the cushions together, and then there's your other bed. That's how we get up to 8 people, not really 8 adults. You've got a queen bed on the back, a queen bed on the front, the couch, and the dinette. Okay, right here we've got our furnace thermostat. There's a little on-off switch on the top. It is stiff. There's a little tiny arrow that says off and is pointing that way, so it is currently off. To pull it on, you'll just pull it toward you. It is stiff, and that's on. And then you've just got your temperatures right down here, hotter and colder. To turn it off, just press on that, and then that'll turn that off. You've also got your TV over here. Remember though, if your 110 outlets are not working because you're not plugged in, then your TV will not work. This is your RV fridge. It's really cool because it's a nice thing to have while you're out camping, but there are some things that you need to know about an RV fridge. An RV fridge needs 3 things in order to operate properly. It needs to be level, you need to have propane, and you do need to have some battery power or electricity. To turn this on, I will already actually have it turned on for you. I will have it turned on to gas. The only reason why you'd want to use auto is if you're going to a campground that's going to have electrical hookups. If you're going to be using a generator, we'll go ahead and force it to gas. That way it prevents it from starting and stopping and starting and stopping. When it is on auto, it will automatically decide if it wants to use propane or if it wants to use electricity. Because I do not leave the trailers hooked up here because we've got the solar panel, we don't have to worry about that power. I'm going to go ahead and force it over to gas. If you have any problems with the fridge, this little gas check light will begin to flash, and then at that point you will turn it off. You will check those 3 things. First, are you level? Go ahead and put a level up on the TV cabinet there and make sure that the trailer is sitting level. The next thing you'll check is your battery. The best way to check your battery is to look at the charge controller. If you're at 9 volts, your battery is dead, and that's what's causing the problems. If that happens, you can recharge the battery by plugging into either a generator or some other electrical source, or you can also plug it into the back of your towing vehicle. The same electrical cord we use for towing, you can plug it into your towing vehicle, turn on your towing vehicle, run your towing vehicle, and the alternator on the towing vehicle will charge the batteries. Since we started using solar panels, we haven't really had to do that, but at least you know now if you need to use that. Then the other thing is a propane line, and that is going to be your most common problem. Because the propane tanks get refilled in between every rental, sometimes you'll get an air bubble in the propane line. The best way to get rid of that propane line air bubble is to turn on the stove. You run the stove for a little bit, that works out any air bubbles and also verifies whether or not you have propane. After you've run the stove for a couple of minutes, turn that off, come back over here, flip this switch back over to gas. You should hear it click, 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 and fire up. If you don't hear that, it's going to go to the gas check light again, turn it off, and double check those 3 things as well. If you forget anything that I just told you, your lighting instructions are right here as well. Also, notice how nice and clean this fridge is. I'd appreciate it if you brought it back to me all nice and clean. Since the fridge has already been on for a couple of hours, you can tell in the back corner here that the fridge is already starting to get nice and cold. It's ready for you to make your grocery store run and fill that up for your trip. All right, the next thing we have is the bathroom. Now, the RV toilet is a fantastic feature of recreational vehicles. I'm going to go ahead and put the chemicals in right now for you. You will not need to be doing any of the chemicals. Halfway down on this pedal gives you water. All the way down opens it up. I'll put this chemical in right now. You will not need to add any more chemicals unless you dump the tank and you're going to be using that black tank again. Then you will need to add another packet of chemicals. So halfway down gives you water, all the way down opens it up and gives you water. Don't put anything down the RV toilet except for human waste and special RV toilet paper. This trailer comes with your special RV toilet paper. You should have several rolls down in here. It's quick dissolving toilet paper, so that's why it's equipped for RVs instead of what's in your house normally. So do not use it for garbage disposal. Don't put any feminine products down there. Nothing except for human waste and special RV toilet paper. Also, notice how nice and clean it is. If you will bring that to me all nice and clean again, I'd appreciate it. Also in here you've got your broom, you've got a fly swatter. There's that garbage can that's excellent for bucketing water into the toilet. Remember when I told you about the best way to actually know if you're filling up or cleaning out your black water tank is to look straight down the toilet? With the pedal all the way down, you can see the bottom of the tank. Now, if you ever come into the bathroom and you're smelling sewer fumes, sometimes it does happen that somebody didn't, that the valve didn't shut all the way. So just when you press down, kind of take your foot off and it'll slap back and that'll close off the valve. The other thing to note in your bathroom here are your light switches and your fan switch. Just like the other switches inside of the recreational vehicle, they are two-way switches. So you do have to have this switch on here in order to turn your light on and off. And then you do have to have this switch on in order to turn your fan on and off. Remember your 110 outlets, your air conditioner, and your microwave will not operate unless you're plugged into extended power. Up above me here is the air conditioner. Your controls for the air conditioners are right here. Remember, this will not work unless you are plugged into some exterior power with a 30 amp connection. The other thing that I have up here is your TV antenna. It's an analog antenna, so it usually doesn't work anyway, and it's actually more trouble than what it's worth. There's a little arrow on this side that has to be lined up in order to raise it or lower it. In general, I tell people just to leave this one alone because you're not going to usually get any kind of TV signal anyway when you're out camping. Okay, when you're all done, you're ready to set up to clean up to come home, you'll need to close this front pop out. After you've already taken everything off on the inside, then you want to fold up this canvas and kind of push it up. Now, the canvas will want to come out. Make sure all the canvas is in. Go around to the other side. Pull this out. Make sure all the canvas is tucked in out of the way. Open everything. Make sure it's all clear. Make sure there's no canvas or anything attached at the top. Bring the panel around, pop that up. Same thing to the other side. All done.